fellow travelers, Mark here with Wolters World, and today we're here in Stockholm, Sweden, and today we're going to talk about are some of the little mistakes that tourists make when they come here to Sweden, because I want you to have a great time when you're here, and sometimes just these little mistakes might keep you from having a fantastic time when you are here in Sweden. And I think one of the mistakes tourists make when they come here is they don't take advantage of fika. And if you're not sure what fika is, that is, if you look it up online, it'll say, oh, it's a coffee break, it's a relaxation time, it's getting together with friends, it's a lot of different things. Look, fika is basically, you're gonna go someplace, you're gonna have coffee, you're gonna have a cinnamon roll or some kind of sweets or some cookies, and you're gonna sit there and relax and talk to your friend and really spend the time there, because it's not a coffee break in terms of I take 15 minutes off to have a coffee and get back to work. It's more taking time out of your day to really focus on relaxing and getting away from the work and the other things. And the thing is, fika is about conversing, getting to talk to people, be with people. And I think that's another mistake that people make when they come to Sweden is they don't chat with the locals. They don't talk with the Swedes. And what you have to realize, the Swedes, when you get them to talk, actually do talk a lot, and they actually are really friendly and really helpful. Like, if you got any problems at all, just ask and the Swedes will help you out. Like, they're good people, right? But the thing is, you'll notice they seem very reserved. It seems like they got stranger danger really beaten into their head as a kid, and they don't talk to strangers. They don't talk to people they don't know. And so therefore, as tourists, we think, oh, they don't like us when we're here. They don't want us to be here. They don't care. I'm like, no, that's not it. That's not it. They're just kind of reserved. And the thing is, if you get a chance to talk to them, if you get a chance to hang out with them, you'll see Swedes are like some of the most fun you can have. Like, if you're going to midsummer or you're going to go to any party, anybody's house, or just hanging out with them, you'll see how much fun they can be. But the thing is, tourists don't get a chance to do that sometimes because they kind of get scared off by not necessarily the standoffiness, but kind of the reserved, not talking to you at all because I don't know you mentality kind of thing you have here. So some other mistakes I see tourists make when they come here to Sweden, and this is one that it will overcome you at some point during your stay, and that is doing your Swedish chef impression. You know, you're flirty, blurty, blurty, flirty. Look, you think you're not gonna do it. You think you don't wanna do it. But then you get off the plane, and then you see all the Swedish people, and you hear all the Swedish, and it kind of overtakes you. Don't make the mistake of doing it, at least don't make the mistake of doing it in front of the Swedes. Do it amongst your friends or by yourself, but not in front of the locals, okay? And speaking of those Swedish people, I think there's another mistake people make, because whenever I talk to people that tell them I'm going to Sweden, they're like, oh yeah, Sweden, nice. They're all blonde hair, blue-eyed, beautiful people. Well, that's a mistake, people. They're not all tall. They're not all blue-eyed. They're not all blonde. But no matter what size or shape the Swedes are, they are beautiful inside and outside. So in a way, I guess it's not a mistake because they are beautiful, but they're not all tall, blonde hair, blue eye kind of people, okay? This is very much a mixing pot. You have a lot of different cultures that come here, and you'll see that with the food, with the people, with all kinds of stuff. All right, the Swedes are pretty chillaxed, but there is one time of the year where they really are kind of crazy, and I think it would be a mistake of yours not to visit during midsummer, because that's when the poles go up and people start dancing around the poles. Like, seriously, they're outside and their poles and they're dancing, and it's all kinds of this crazy fun time, and everyone's so excited. You got flowers in your hair, you're having a really great time, but it's really one of those things that you really enjoy when you're here. So you can be here at midsummer, so at least around midsummer with all the festivals and all the fun that's going on. It would be a mistake if you didn't do that. And from cutting a rug with your dancing around the pole to cutting in line, that's another mistake you don't do here. You don't cut in line. They have a very strict, line culture here, and if you cut in the line or jump the queue, that's something that the locals don't appreciate. So that'd be a mistake to do. And I know in some cultures you say, oh, Mark, why would anyone do that? But there's some places that the idea about line culture is more of a herd mentality. And one of those times you're going to see that line culture in full effect is Friday afternoons and Saturdays when you go to Systembolaget. I know I pronounce it so wrong. That's the liquor store here, because you make the mistake of thinking you can buy spirits anytime you want, any shop you want. No, anything above like 3.5% alcohol, you have to go buy from the liquor store, the government-run liquor store. So don't make the mistake of thinking you can just pick up some of that Absolute whenever you want, because you can't. But you will see the lines there forever. So prepare. Maybe go shopping for your weekend drinks like on Wednesday instead of Friday or Saturday. And another place you might find yourself after having a few of those drinks you got from the government liquor store, it's going to be Max. I think it'll be a mistake for you if you need like a quick eat or a cheap eat, or you just want some fast food, or it's a late night kind of thing after you had a few drinks. Don't make the mistake of going to like a Burger King or a McDonald's or something like that. Go to Max, okay? Max is the local hamburger fast food chain, and go get their stuff. The special, the original Max sauce, dude, great for your fries, great on your burger. You can't go wrong with that. And another mistake I think tourists make when they come to Sweden is thinking the Swedes will bend the rules for them. Look, the Swedes love rules. Like, they love rules. They love to follow the rules, and they don't like to change things, okay? So if you think you're going to get them to change it up for you, hey, let me in the hotel a little bit earlier. Hey, why don't you get out of this? Hey, can't we look the other way, sir? No, they're not. Like, they are about the rules, and they want the rules followed, and that's one of those things that's a really big part of their culture. So don't expect them to, bend the rules for you, or bend the rules for anybody for that matter. And the thing is, when you're with the Swedes, no matter what size, shape, height, whatever they are, there's one thing you need to know. They're all going to feel the same way if you brag. They're not going to like it. And that's a mistake that some people make. They come here, oh, I want to meet people at the bar, I want to talk to them. Oh, I make all this kind of money. Look at my muscles. Look how cool I am. This is what I did today. I'm amazing. Yeah, well, that doesn't work here. Like, these are humble people, and they respect humility. They don't respect show-offs. And that's one of the things tourists kind of don't understand. It's like how you converse, how you talk about yourself is different here in Sweden than you do in other places. Now, another mistake I think tourists make when they come here is not respecting the time. Look, they are not late here. I mean, Swedes, there's something about Swedes. There's two things they are. They're quiet and they're dependable. Like a Volvo, right? But here, you want to be on time for everything you go to. Being late is a total insult. Now, that doesn't mean be early. Like, you're right on time. Like, if a Swede tells you, hey, next Tuesday at 8 p.m., let's meet right here, they will be here at 8 p.m., right here. Not at 7:50, not at 8:10, but right at 8 o'clock. So make sure if you're going to be doing any dates, you don't have to reconfirm 900 times with them. They're like, hey, look, we told you we'd be there at that time. We'll be there at that time, okay? So being late, not cool, okay? Now, there's also some mistakes I see people make on public transportation here, and I think one mistake people make is when they're standing in line for the bus, they get a little too close to the people. And actually, I think I should say this. The mistake is just getting close to the Swedes. They like their personal space. They have their personal bubble, and they don't like people encroaching on that, whether it's out in public, or it's on the bus line, or it's on the bus. So give them the space. So if you're going to be getting on the bus, and you see there's plenty of empty spaces around, don't go sit by the Swedes. Go sit by yourself. You'll see when you take the train, there'll be literally like one person per 4 seats in each little part, because they don't want to sit by each other, okay? So they just want to have their space, so don't make that mistake, okay? And another mistake is don't talk to them on public transportation. Actually, just don't talk on public transportation at all, because they really like their kind of chillaxing nature, and so that small talk kind of things, it's a mistake to do because they're not really into that. That's not their jam. If they are, they'll talk your ear off, but public transportation wise, randomly on the street wise, yeah, that's not really a thing. And if I go away, I'm talking about the buses, but if I talk about the busing mistake, is what you have to realize. If you're going to the cafeterias, you're going to restaurants and cafes, don't make the mistake of not busing your own table, because that's actually something you do here, because the people are, okay, I'll do it, it's no problem. I brought my coffee and my cinnamon roll to my table, I'll bring my little tablet back, no big deal. I'll make sure everything gets the right recycling. You do that, not the servers, okay? Now, if you're at a sit-down restaurant, that's different, but like if you go to a cafe or a cafeteria kind of thing, you're the one bussing your table. Because one thing you'll notice when you come here to Sweden is the service, and I think you're gonna have a mistake if you think the service is gonna be really good here. The service is more indifferent, blasé, maybe passé. Look, the customer is not king here, okay? So don't make the mistake of thinking that they're going to care if you're unhappy, you don't like something or whatever. No, it doesn't matter what you pay. They don't care. They don't care. They don't care. It doesn't matter. It's just the way it is. And they don't mean to be mean about it. They're just like, I make a good wage and you don't tip here, so it's not really that big of a deal. And that is a mistake. You don't need a tip when you're here, okay? So don't make the mistake of tipping because you don't have to. But it is something I think you should know about, that the service, don't mistakenly think you're going to get good service when you're here. So I'm filming this in Stockholm, and if you've watched my Don'ts in Stockholm video, I talk about how pricey it is to be here, like it is expensive. One thing I think is a mistake is when people think all of Sweden is as expensive as Stockholm. No, Stockholm is an outlier. I mean, if you go to the north of the country, the south, or inland, go by the lakes, I mean, it's a lot more affordable. It's never cheap here, but it's a lot more affordable than Stockholm. So don't think Stockholm prices reflect the whole country. So that might make it a little bit easier for you to stay longer in Sweden, because if you just stay in Stockholm, you're going to burn through a lot of money. But if you go visit, like go to Lund or go to Jönköping or wherever, I mean, you have a good time. Even if you just go up to Uppsala for the day, it can save you a little bit of money and you'll notice the difference in the prices. But regardless where you are, don't make this mistake, and that is just taking a taxi. Look, taxis in Sweden are expensive. Like, that's one of those times you're like, am I getting ripped off here? No, they're just really expensive here. So really take the time to find all the public transportation options you do have, whether it is a bus or it is a tram or if it is a subway or a public train or whatever, because that can save you quite a bit versus doing the taxi thing. So it may take you more time, but in the end, I mean, it will save you quite a bit of money, so be careful with those things. Now, I realize we're tourists, we're probably not going to get to talk to the locals as much as we'd like, but I think there's one thing that tourists do like to do, and that's to shop. And one thing you need to know is if you're going to shop and you need money, but one of the mistakes you're going to make when you come to Sweden is actually taking out cash from the ATM. You don't need cash when you're here. I mean, it's credit card everywhere, or the tap and go, or if you have your phone, beep, you're good to go there, okay? So just know, don't make the mistake of getting cash out. You don't need it. You won't even recognize it anywhere. Like, wow, this is Monopoly money? What is this? It doesn't matter, because literally it's card everywhere. And actually, there's some place you're going to go where they will not take cash. Like, I've been to garden bars, like in the park. They've got a beer garden there, all kinds of stuff. They're like, no, cards only, no cash. Now, when you have your credit cards ready to go here, what are you going to buy? Well, I got to say, one of the mistakes you're going to make is not getting the right souvenirs. And there's plenty of souvenir stores throughout the whole country, and there's good artists all over you can get, but I'll be honest with you, the dollar horse. Don't make the mistake of not getting that dollar horse. The red horse you see, you want to get one of those. Even if it's a little tchotchke silly one, or it's a magnet or something, I mean, that's like a symbol of the country. It's something you're going to get. I mean, I've got pictures of me riding them. I've got pictures of the kids with them. I mean, Liam, when I told him I was coming to Sweden, he's like, Dad, you got to get me a red horse. So in my bag right below me, Liam, there's your horse. I got it for you already, buddy. But for a tourist, that's something you should get when you're here. It's like one of those traditional things. And the thing is, you're going to get that souvenir and you're going to get other things, and you're going to notice that your money kind of disappears quickly here. Yeah, and so you're probably going to think about, Mark, how could I save a little cash? Well, one of the mistakes I don't want you to make is not going to some of the lunch buffets. And you'll see places that do have, it'll be like announcing, oh, we have a lunch buffet today. You can get a really good deal on lunch buffets here. Like, that could be your big meal and you can save money there, because versus in the evening time where it might be more, and those buffets aren't usually open at night either, so you don't want to miss out on that. But also what's cool is you won't miss out on the local Swedish food, because I think one of the mistakes people make is thinking they're going to get Swedish meatballs everywhere. Well, one, it's a mistake to call it Swedish meatballs. They're just meatballs. But what you have to realize is the Swedes, they love international food. Like, they travel all around the world and they brought all their food they found out there back, and they're like, yes, I like this, I like this, I like this. And sometimes it's hard to actually find Swedish food. Now, when you go to smaller towns, I found it a little bit easier to find some, but don't miss up that opportunity. Don't pass up the opportunity to have some local stuff. But realize that sometimes your best bet are with those cheaper lunch buffets to get your meatballs and lingonberries and the mashed potatoes kind of stuff. I mean, that's something that's important. Or at your hotel, don't oversleep. Go and have the herring, the pickled herring for breakfast, okay? Or you can have it for a snack later. Or the shrimp, it's like shrimp salad bread, toast, sandwich, open-faced sandwich. I don't know what the heck you call it. But that's another thing you're really gonna like. But again, sometimes you can't find it. You're like, oh, it's some good stuff. Why can't I find it? So don't make the mistake of missing out on the Swedish food when you get the chance. Because honestly, if you meet the locals, they'll be like, hey, you want to go get Italian food? Hey, you want to go get sushi? That's what they're preferring to do versus getting the meatballs or the salmon or whatever. Now, I know this is going to sound silly, but I think American tourists specifically make this mistake when it comes to eating your meatballs here in Sweden. They don't put the lingonberries on top. They kind of leave it on the side like it's a garnish or something to just look pretty. No, you want to put the lingonberries on top of your meatballs so it gets together and it's really good. And also, the unsung hero in that are those pickled cucumbers on the side. Totally makes the meatballs work. So don't make that mistake to not like integrate everything together. It's really nice. Oh, also another little mistake, if you're in Stockholm, don't miss out on the Voss Museum. It's a boat that sank on its maiden voyage. It's fantastic how it's like literally everything there. Look, you can see the Royal Line and everything. It's cool. So just a couple more mistakes for you. Now, I'm sure I've talked about the cinnamon rolls quite a few times when I'm here, but I think a mistake is only eating the cinnamon rolls. Look, the pastries here in Sweden are amazing. So get them. Just get them. You're welcome, okay? At your hotel breakfast, get them. You go by a bakery, get them. Pastries here in Sweden, so good, so good. And another sweet treat you need to think about when you come here is don't make the mistake of not going into the candy stores. Like, they love their candy here. Like, they got like a sweet tooth, like Saturday's Sweet Tooth Saturdays. I don't know what the heck they call it, but honestly, you're gonna see candy spots all over the country. So go and get some candy. And yes, you scoop it out yourself and put it into a bag so you can try all the different kinds. Though I'll warn you, it will be a mistake to get the black licorice candy that they love so much. I know they love it here. I'm sorry, my Swedish friends, but I just can't. I just can't. Now, I find it kind of ironic that this is how we're kind of finishing up our mistakes. And basically the mistake is only staying in Stockholm. What you have to realize is Sweden has so much to offer from all the lakes that are out here, the coastline, the islands, the towns. I mean, if you could just get to Gothenburg or go down to Lund or go up and explore Jönköping, go to the big lakes in the middle, when you see those things there, it's so beautiful going into nature and just taking it all in that people really miss out when they only do Stockholm. Now, don't get me wrong, Stockholm's cool. You can have a great vacation here, but really don't make the mistake of thinking this is the only thing. So even if you can do a day trip, like going to Uppsala, okay? I mean, it's like an hour away. It's not that hard to get to. There's a train that goes up there. You can go see the cathedral there and the university. I mean, there's other places you can get to, but there is so much more to see in this country than just Stockholm, so don't make that mistake. Go see my friend Marie in Kalmar. She's such a nice lady and she gave me all kinds of great tips, so thank you, Marie. But honestly, don't just stay in Stockholm. Get out when you can because there's so much to see here. Now, I know I mentioned the rest of Sweden isn't as expensive as Stockholm, but just in general, I think even for Stockholm, I think it's a mistake when people think that Sweden and Stockholm are too expensive to visit. It's just beyond reach. I'll be honest with you, even here in Stockholm, the prices aren't that much different than what I have back home, and it's cheaper than going to New York. It's a lot cheaper than going to London. So though it's expensive, it's not like you can't afford to go here, because when I look at prices around the world, prices to go anywhere are not cheap, and not cheap stuff anywhere. And honestly, that's actually made a trip to Sweden comparatively a lot more expensive than other places. So don't make the mistake of thinking that it's too expensive to visit, because you're really missing out if you do. So what are some of the other mistakes you see tourists make when they come here to Sweden? Please let us know in the comments below so we can help other travelers have a better time here and not make those little mistakes. And honestly, if you want more in-depth knowledge about traveling around Sweden, why don't you subscribe to our YouTube channel or check out our website, woltersworld.com, where we got videos and blogs on the don'ts of going to Sweden, the 10 culture shocks of coming to Sweden, 5 things you'll love and maybe not like so much about going to Sweden, and of course, what you should eat when you're here. All our website, YouTube channels, all kinds of stuff. We wish you a great time here in Sverige, Sweden.